What's up, guys? Welcome to Seven Figure Builder. My name is Ruben, the builder. Hopefully you're already following me on Instagram. If not, hit that follow button. Would love to see you there. I'm posting daily content there about me building my next 100 houses. Over the past, I think I've had my GC license now for 6 years. Total 7 years in real estate investing and new construction. I've built over 250 homes, and we're on track to do our next 350 within the next year to two, depending on how schedules go. In this video today, I'm gonna break down the 3 biggest mistakes that I've made in my real estate investing career and how it pertains to every deal specifically. So we're gonna jump over on an iPad, and I'm gonna write and show you guys and hopefully drop some value. So like, share, subscribe. Let's go. Awesome. Well, the biggest thing I think is overpaying for land. So when you're building a new construction building, you have multiple controllables that you need to take into account, and one of those is overpaying for land. A very important lesson that I learned is no matter how hot the market is, an A location is an A location. A D location is a D location. Sure, maybe in a hot market, a property that's in a worse location will still sell. We saw this very specifically in the low interest rate market. Everything sold. But the second that interest rates went up, the hot areas continued to sell. Those people could essentially still afford it, or that area was still desirable. People would come in with better offers, more down payment, you name it, or they would buy down the rates. But the areas that were lower didn't do as good. And so the way that we mitigated that issue is, as we started seeing the market to begin to shift, we started to cut construction costs as much as we could. So that leads me into 2. I'm going to give you guys a general overview, and then we can break down into more detail on each one. So your next controllable is going to be construction cost. So we were projected to build this product at around $175 per square foot. We got it down, guys, to all the way down to $140. That's a very, very big difference. So we started cutting out things, simple upgrades like hard surface upstairs or on the stairs, or putting carpet in those areas instead. We stopped doing two-tone paint colors. We stopped doing wood cabinets, and we did more pre-finished cabinets. We did thinner countertop slabs. So for the area, we still built a very nice product, but we had to cut the cost as much as possible. And so in that time, the market was really good for work, and we built a really good relationship with our subcontractors, and we said, hey, we're noticing a major slowdown, and work is going to be very slow if this continues. Would you be movable on your price at all to make this project pencil a lot better? And so if you've overpaid for the lot already, your next goal should be figure out how to get your construction costs as low as possible. And then including in the construction cost mistake that I made was going to be time. Guys, depending on your type of financing, honestly, no matter what type of financing you have, if I'm being really brutal, if you delay the project and it's in your control, holding costs will eat you alive. So yeah, maybe if you have a personal house loan and your interest only at 7% or something like that, it's not as bad. But if you are at 10-12% interest only for the year, you're at 3 points closing, and your maturity date is coming up, which means that the loan is coming due, and essentially you have to pay off the loan in full. 1, you have to refinance. 2, or you have to pay an extension. 3.
Thank you so much for getting this far into the video. If you're an action taker and you're looking for the education side of things, the tools, the resources, everything you need to be successful in the real estate development and new construction game, we have an education platform specifically for you.
Awesome. So text the word YouTube to 360-216-0323, and we'll get you connected to the right team member.
Guys, the projects where I had to do multiple extensions and or refinances to extend the timeline was always extremely negative to the bottom line, because those are costs that you typically don't factor in your pro forma when you're putting together a deal and underwriting the deal, because you don't expect those things. So if at all possible, hold your subcontractors to a very tight timeline and create penalties if the project is not done on time, because at the end of the day, you're going to be paying those costs out of pocket. Next, holding costs and time go together. So the longer, let's put it in very simple terms, okay? Let's just say that you're paying 12% interest per year. You have a hard money loan just like that. So you're paying 1% interest per month if you divide that 12. So let's just say you have a $1 million hard money loan times 1% is $10,000 divided by, let's just say, we'll do 25 days out of the month. Your payment on that loan, your holding costs or your cost of financing is $400 per day. So if a job gets delayed by 1 day, there goes $400. That's kind of how I like to break it down into simple numbers and think about it. Because that way it puts me on edge, and I'm always consistently checking with the contractors, and I follow a simple process that I like to go by: trust but verify. Subcontractor says he'll be on site tomorrow at 8 a.m. I'm gonna double check and either show up at 8 a.m. and wait for him, or check my security cameras and call him at 8:15 and be like, hey, you're not on site. Is there anything I can do to help you? Are you missing material? What's going on? I can't delay this project any further. I really need to push this project. And so that's something very valuable. Another thing is understanding how long each trade should take in the construction process. So if you get a bid from a foundation contractor, let's just say one guy is less in price, but he says he's going to take him 2 weeks to get the foundation done, whereas the other guy is $500 more in price, but he's going to take a week faster. Multiply that 5 days by that $400 per day that we calculated. Truly, that guy is actually cheaper by $1,500 because you're saving $2,000 in holding costs on that bid. And so that's how critical it is on holding costs and understanding bids, scope of work, schedules. So very important to understand schedules and to stack them properly. In my online community, I offer my schedules. I don't know if you've heard about that yet, but you can go there and check it out. It's very important to learn how to stack a schedule properly and make sure there's no gaps and there's no wait time in between. It's very important to understand because you can incur a lot of hidden costs just like that without even truly understanding that money is getting completely just wiped away right under your nose just because you're taking too long on the project. Okay, so overpaying for land, construction cost, and then product. So there's a few different ways we could talk about product. Number one can be the wrong product. So you're building the wrong type of house or duplex or you name it, sixplex for all I care, for the area. And when you list it on the market, you're getting either no showings, bad feedback, or no offers whatsoever. And so it's very important to understand that when you're going into an area, do your market research and see, number one, what is being built, what is being sold, what's going pending the fastest, what's closing the soonest, and you understand what's in demand for that area. That way, you can go in with a full, well-rounded understanding of what does the market want right now, and what am I going to be able to sell or disposition the fastest. Okay. Number two, wrong product is number one. Number two is going to be finishes. So either building too cheap or too nice for the area. So if most homes have Formica countertops and you're going in and putting hardwood throughout the entire home, granite, quartzite, you're doing a high-end paint job where, the two-tone colors, the ceiling's a different color. All of those things cost extra money. And so it's really important to match your home to what's in the area. Sure, you can do a few little upgrades, but you just got to understand that you won't always get the money back for the extra money that you invested. A very prime example of this is my brother and I built 2 personal houses, and I really wanted a little bit nicer of a home, just because I wanted to enjoy it truly at the end of the day. So I put in a nicer speaker system. I put in lighting under the stairs. I put hardwood throughout the entire home. I did Rolls-Royce ceiling in my master bedroom, so it was really cool at night. I had like a really cool nightlight finish, and all of those different upgrades. I did turf instead of real grass. I did turf landscaping. I did a ton of extra upgrades I didn't need. I did cabinets inside of my garage. I did cabinets inside my office, so built-ins everywhere. I did a custom coffee bar. So I did all these cool different things. The project cost me $50,000 more to build. I sold my home for $760,000. He sold his home for $740,000. So that's just for you to understand that right off the bat, 2 very similar houses. One cost $50,000 more. I sold for $20,000 more and lost $30,000 in upgrade costs, versus he built and sold and technically made more profit than me, even though he sold at a lesser price. It's very important to understand. And then also expensive square footage. What do I mean by this? So when you're building a house, you need to understand a massive kitchen is going to cost you a lot more money versus a massive bedroom won't. And so even though that we teach and we tell people, just do your square footage roughly, your build price per square foot, depending on your area. So $150 per square foot multiplied by, let's just say, a 2,000 square foot house, right? A kitchen is probably on the higher end of $200 per square foot to build, and then a bedroom can be on the lower end of $80 per square foot to build, in relative. So I'm just making those numbers up. So if I make the kitchen bigger by 4 feet, it's going to cost me a lot more money. Cabinets, countertop, lighting, all those different things. Versus in a bedroom, I'm just adding more carpet or more flooring space, and that's really it. And so what I kind of learned is I can build a 3,500 square foot home, and it would cost me the same as potentially a 2,800 square foot home. That's how big of a difference it can be. All because in the 3,500 square foot home, I might have an extra bonus room. The bedrooms might be bigger by 3 feet all around. Things like that. But if I'm going in and I'm adding 2 extra bathrooms, and I'm making the kitchen bigger, and I'm adding a entire walk-in butler's pantry, and I'm upgrading the windows to black plastic instead of the white plastic, vinyl windows, or I'm doing wood windows, all of those things add to the construction cost substantially. And so it's really important to understand, number one, finishes and build cost, and be mindful of how you're building your house. You can build a massive 1-story house and it can cost you more than a 2-story house. Why? Because on a 1-story house, you have a massive foundation, which is more expensive. On a 2-story house, you have a smaller footprint, smaller foundation, and you're stacking the house on top of each other, if that makes sense. So the bigger your foundation, the more your costs will be. Sure, you have less lumber material and there's a little bit give or take, but just understand these different concepts. Those would be the 3 biggest mistakes that I've made in my career. Is number 1, overpaying for land and understanding what it's truly worth, construction cost, and building for the right price, and negotiating correctly with the right subcontractors, time versus scope of work and bid, and then holding costs, paying for the right type of loan product. My cost of financing is not too expensive. Making sure to be very diligent on the schedule and maturity dates and extensions. Understanding how your schedule ties into that. And then building the right product for the area where someone will buy what you build, and it will be in high demand, or lots of showings or lots of offers. And then lastly, I would say finishes, and then understanding the different cost segments in building a kitchen versus building a bedroom, and how that relates into your comparables. So you can build a 6-bedroom house, 3 bath, versus a 5-bedroom house, 3-bath, and the price to build can be the same, because one of them has a massive kitchen and 5 bedrooms, and the other one has a smaller kitchen but has 6 bedrooms. And so that's very important to understand. Us as builders, we can tweak and we can understand and mess with those numbers a little bit, but a realtor or an appraiser simply goes off of square footage, bedroom, bathroom count, and it's that simple. Very, very rarely they'll factor in the finishes of the build. And so if you build smart, you can be on the higher end of the comp spectrum and make a lot more profit by being wise in your building plan and what you build. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this was valuable to you. These mistakes cost me hundreds, if not millions of dollars in mistakes. And so hopefully this was valuable to you. Like, share, subscribe. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one. And till next time.